Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm on the new phone here, seeing how it works as far as a video is concerned. My first video on the new phone. Hopefully it goes well, hopefully it uploads fast. Performance is a little different, but just you get what you pay for, you know what I mean? It's like $40 difference a month, so I expect the performance to be not so perfect. But all in all, still on the test run with my newest phone. So, yeah, man, a lot of talk about LeBron James not going forward with the Lakers or whatever people were trying to say. Essentially, they think he's going to be requesting a trade if the Lakers don't make trades to improve the squad. As to which that would be his prerogative with the no trade clause. We wouldn't be able to trade him on our intentions, if I'm speaking for the organization, but more so on his grace, so to speak. That's what a no trade clause provides you an opportunity to be stuck with a guy. So, you know, I mean, for me, it's all about the return. In my opinion, I don't think the Lakers can get the greatest return at this point because he has a no trade clause on him. So for me, I'm not thrilled with giving LeBron James up just to be giving him up. I think that makes for poor basketball to watch for a long time potentially. I think that, you know, the place that he wants to go, to Golden State Warriors, they don't have the most attractive pieces to me. I like Moody. I like Podziemski. I don't really like Kuminga that much. I don't really like Wiggins that much. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I think Kuminga is one of the more overrated players in basketball today. I really do. I don't think he's bad. I think he has some nice attributes. I think he's a hell of a weapon, athleticism, potential defense, great handles for his size, nice offensive player. But I just don't think he's worth the price tag that he wants to be paid. And I think the Lakers may be inclined to pay him that if they were to acquire him in the event that LeBron James moves on. I don't want to be stuck to a $180, $200 million Kuminga contract. No. Start my rebuild? Not necessarily. I was listening to As It Stands, man, and I don't usually agree with him very much, but his take on rebuilding didn't sound all that bad to me. He thinks that the Golden State Warriors would be the ones most inclined to overpay for LeBron James if they were to get him because, of course, they got to do things for Steph Curry in the win now timeline. I'm inclined to think that makes sense in regards to that assessment. I don't know that would actually equate, but I think we agree that seems like they would be willing to pay a little more than most for the timeline they're on. For the fact to pair up LeBron James and Steph Curry is going to bring a lot of revenue to the Golden State Warriors, to say the least. Maybe even another championship opportunity or what have you. So I would imagine they are inclined to do it, maybe more motivation there than anyone else. So even though I don't love the package that I could get back in theory based on the players' salary matches, Wiggins and Gary Payton, that doesn't attract me in salary matches or whatever. But at the end of the day, once you're getting back value, you can always flip it to a third team. You know, I don't know that those picks are going to be that great, given the fact that we're literally giving them LeBron James. Steph Curry probably won't retire for another couple of years. So I don't know if we get first-round picks from Golden State. We'll love those picks. But again, you can flip for something else. It's not, you're not stuck to what you get. You can obviously involve a third team or trade it in a different time. So I don't want to get locked into the idea that Golden State doesn't have stuff I want. If it's worth a certain amount, I can always flip it. You know what I mean? It's about getting the worth back, not necessarily specific pieces from a specific place. So that's kind of where I go left in regards to assessing things. Just give me $1 million. I don't really care where it comes from. As long as it's $1 million, if it's something that's worth $1 million, I can sell for $1 million. As long as it's $1 million, $1 million. You can give me $1 million worth of quarters. If I have somewhere to put it and I can exchange it for the $1 million in my account, then I'll take the $1 million. See what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing, rather than getting it back in all in crypto or whatever version of $1 million you would prefer. So, you know, this is what it comes down to for me. If LeBron James wants to be a Laker, I'm not looking to move him. If LeBron James wants to be moved, my concern is that his no trade clause could potentially make it so that his contract isn't attractive to the team that's acquiring it. Just because he waives his no trade clause with us doesn't mean that no trade clause is not attached to the contract that it's going to, just like Bradley Beal. That no trade clause is now on the hook for the other team. And they ain't going to be able to trade him if they need to. And that's going to cost you. And so for me, That's what I'm concerned with. I would have much rather have done this before he signed this contract, maybe last summer at the deadline, when I thought it made sense to kind of break this thing up if we were going to do so. Otherwise, we're past the point where it makes the most sense to try to shop LeBron James with a no trade clause. So that's my kind of thinking. It doesn't have to equate that way, of course, but I'm worried we're just not going to get what we want from him. Now, what do I want for LeBron James? Probably not a whole lot. I mean, if this was back in 2008, and of course I'm going to want, everything there is to get. But in this era, with him being 40 on contract for 2 years, regardless of no trade clause or not, I probably want a pick or two, pick per year maybe. With respect to him, maybe make it unprotected. I don't know. But like, he's 40 years old. How much is he going to do for the franchise long term? I don't really know if you assess it that way, or if you're assessing the revenue that you can get from just having him, and the $1 billion that he brings just putting his uniform on for you. But that would have to be assessed by people who understand this stuff a bit better to help me understand what makes sense. At the end of the day, I just want a good, solid return for a 40-year-old legend who probably still has enough in the tank to do great things if good pieces are around. So whatever that looks like, the salary match, young player pick. I'm not going to go crazy. I don't need like 8 and 9 picks for LeBron James. Now, if you want to give me that, I'm happy to receive that. But realistically, I don't know that I can have those type of dreams. So, you know what I mean? If we can get 2 first rounders out of the situation, salary match looks pretty solid. Young players like Moody and, Moody and... I don't know. I don't even know if they'd give me Moody and Podziemski. That might be a little rich, to be honest with you. But that's kind of what I'd be asking for LeBron from the Golden State Warriors. So that's the thing. You don't have it's not in your most advantageous position to move LeBron James with a no trade clause. And it's not like you can do it underneath anyone's nose so that you can get the best return in the dark. It's going to be public. It's going to be him pointing out the places he wants to go, and that's going to eat away at your return. And for a team that needs to rebuild, that's not a good thing. You already got to match salaries, so it's going to eat away at the pick equity, potentially, depending on what you're bringing back. It's just not great. If he only wants to go to Golden State, that makes it even worse as it pertains to how much you'd expect to get back in a loud trade demand type situation with a no trade clause attached. For Jeanie Buss, if I'm ownership, I'll probably just keep him for the revenue. You know what I mean? If he doesn't want to go anywhere, I'm certainly not trying to push him out the door. I make more money with him here. Kuminga ain't going to give me that revenue. Nobody going to be sitting here watching him often. You're losing half your fan base. And that's the real thing. If you move LeBron James, that fan base you're shifting that fan base to Golden State. That got to be accounted into equity to some degree. Because he got LeBron fans going to follow him wherever he goes. They're used to moving from team to team. You're going to be losing a lot of people. And that's something that is another reason why if I'm Jeanie Buss, I probably not have no interest in moving LeBron James at all. Winning or not winning, I'm keeping him for the 2 years and that's it. If he decides he wants to sign somewhere after 2027 or 2026, whenever the contract ends, that's his business. But as far as I'm concerned, we're tied in, buddy. That's how I look at it if I'm an owner. And as I told you guys in a video that I made maybe about 5 days ago or something, the extreme nature of the options that fans and media want to provide the Lakers is not really the problem that the Lakers are actually faced with. They don't have to rebuild or go all in. Those are two extremes that fit narratives of people who are making money off of these conversations. The truth of the matter is LeBron James has signed a no-trade clause with the Lakers. His son has been drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers have done enough to make LeBron James sit in a situation that's not winning, if I'm being honest with you. Based on what it is that his contingencies were for sitting in a situation where he can't win a championship, we gave him what he would need in order to sit in a situation and not win a championship. Just like we gave Kobe the $40 million on the end when he knew damn well this team wasn't going nowhere. We signed Bron to a no-trade clause, picked his son up. That's the equivalent. This is a retirement situation. He's going to retire a Laker if he honors the unspoken agreement of the circumstance. That's the God's honest truth. That was the retirement path. We're giving you these things as a thank you And is an unspoken agreement that even if we can't win a championship, you're going to stick around. You ain't going to force our hand. And in return, we give you the option on paper of being able to make that determination yourself. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. We sign your son. We give you no trade clause. And in turn, you allow for us to suck while you sit here and continue to keep that revenue in our pockets. That's exactly what this is. I don't think people realize that. Now, if LeBron James wants to, behind the scenes, pretend like he's not happy with the circumstance, pretend like it's, I need to win a championship or I'm out of here, that's his business. You see what I'm saying? Because for all I know, that's the agreement. We don't expect you to show the face that you're fine with losing to the world. Do what it is that you do, but at the end of the day, don't leave. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if my brand requires me to act as if we must win no matter what, then of course I'm going to raise hell while everyone's looking at me so that you guys are able to keep up the conversation that LeBron James didn't just roll over and lose. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a winner. I got to win. We're supposed to win. Everywhere I'm at, we go to the final. So why would I stick with the Lakers or anybody else if they don't give me a championship? You need to make trades. You need to get the team good enough. And I'm going to use my leverage to show all the people that are rooting for me to win that I care just about as much about winning as I used to. And as the trade deadline approaches, I won't request out, and I'll just happen to be here afterward when we're not winning. That's what I think is actually happening. I think LeBron James already agreed that the Lakers can't make trades to both improve their own circumstances and improve his timeline. I think he knows that. He knew that going into the contract. So that we are some variation of not championship worthy is not a surprise to LeBron James. He may need to behave like it is for his brand and to keep all these people who are rooting for him to win happy, but the reality is it didn't take a genius to see that this team ain't good enough to win a championship. Okay? And he used the whole roster spot on his son. He knows this team ain't good enough to win a championship. So Windhorse and all these people have their own interests wrapped up in LeBron James moving to another franchise because that's good business for them. That don't mean that the people behind the scenes who are actually responsible for moving him to another franchise are going to actually pull the trigger on a deal. Probably the contrary. And at the end of the day, where is he going? To a franchise that provides lesser revenue to him than the Lakers. Why? Because we provide the most. It's either this place or the Knicks, and the Knicks are already tied up. And I'm sure they move stuff around to bring him in, but he's a Laker, and this is where he can make the most money. This is where the Lakers can make the most money off of him. This is a perfect storm of media, tsunami, and personal brand uplifting. Now, it does help a lot if you're winning, but just the same, billions of people are buying 23 Laker jerseys all over the world, whether we're winning championships or not. People are paying attention to Laker games above all other games, whether people are winning or not, so long as these two brands stay combined. And that's really what it comes down to. Could he move to Golden State? Sure. Is it the same dynamic? Hell no. No, it's not. I hate to tell y'all this, but as the Golden State Warriors are most definitely a high draw franchise, with them having a dynasty just behind us, with them having Steph Curry, one of the most marketable superstars the game has ever seen too. So it's definitely going to be a lot of money to be made in Frisco, but it ain't the same as putting on a Laker jersey. It ain't. It's just not. And that's what people need to just kind of be okay with. I don't think LeBron James takes a major hit. It's not like going to Sacramento or going to Minnesota or something. But the best place for him to continue on his path for his financial goal trajectory is to stay right where he's at for the next 2 years. And for his son to stay right where he's at. So I don't. It's bigger than basketball, people. There are other things, games that people are playing. They're trying to win championships in, not just the sport on the floor. And this is how you make championships happen in the financial game. You stay with the Lakers as LeBron James. So I don't think he's going nowhere. I really don't. because it made more sense to do this sooner. When one came to the idea, the understanding that we couldn't beat the Denver Nuggets and that they weren't firing that weak coach, that's when you start making moves. When you realize that you had to give up a pick to give up Russell Westbrook, and it took a pick to get him too, and you realize you look at your war chest and only see three picks and a need to make more trades than what those picks provide, you knew you couldn't win. People aren't aware that the Lakers are not a championship team. Now, are they getting frustrated with that in the moment? Maybe. But no more frustrated than they were last year. You know what I mean? So I think people are pretending to care more about winning championships than they do. And I think it's in their best interest to do so. And I think we're going to continue to see that all the way through the trade deadline. And I think people are going to be sitting right here when the trade deadline passes, whether the Lakers make a trade or not. I really think that. But I could be wrong. And we'll see. But I got a feeling if I'm wrong, he's going against some agreements that likely would have people very mad at him. Some very powerful people would be very pissed at him for reneging on the agreement to keep himself attached to the Lakers. That's what I think. You think Nike wants him to move to like Golden State away from the Lakers? Doubt it. In fact, I'm certain of he wouldn't. Why? Because Steph Curry is a brand ambassador of one of their great competitors. So the last thing they want is LeBron going to Golden State when Steph Curry is bringing along Under Armour. So no, that's just a whole nother conversation. I don't think they would rather him be in Golden State, making Curry more famous, so to speak. No, that doesn't seem like something Nike would want at all. So these are just things I'm thinking about. I don't think so. I don't see him going to Golden State. I don't see him going any damn where. I see him being right here at the cash cow Lakers, making billions of dollars to play basketball, whether we're winning or not. And then comes the conversation of moving Anthony Davis. When I look at Anthony Davis and I see an MVP candidate, for better or for worse, in regards to some of his weaknesses or what have you, on contract for like 4 years from this point on. Why the hell am I moving him? Unless I think that he's going to lose value from here, become more injury prone than he's been. But as far as the pressure to win championships, that is something that I think is always in place if you're the Los Angeles Lakers based on the fan base. But I don't think anybody's leaving because you didn't trade Anthony Davis. You see what I'm saying? Like, people may be upset that we didn't build something that could win a championship. And, you know, maybe LeBron requests out or what have you, as to which it can change your timeline. So you may want to cash out on Anthony Davis. But if I'm to assume LeBron James ain't going nowhere, the Lakers are not inclined to move Anthony Davis. Not on the beginning of his contract, when he's having an MVP-like season, 31 years of age, a defensive anchor, even though we're a terrible defensive team with it. But, like, all in all, he's one of the most important pieces in the league as it pertains to what he can do both offensively and defensively. You got superstars and not as valuable as Anthony Davis that anchor teams as their number one. You see what I'm saying? You got guys on playoff teams that are not as valuable as Anthony Davis, and they're the number one player. Because of what Anthony could do on the boards, defensively, and potentially offensively when he's going. So for me, not only is Anthony Davis an important piece to the Lakers, he's an extremely valuable winning piece anywhere he goes. He's going to change a franchise immediately wherever he goes. You put them in Chicago, suddenly they're immediately a playoff team. Send them to Orlando, immediately a playoff team. Send them to Golden State, immediately a championship contender. Send them to OKC, no one's beating them. They'll win the championship. Like, these are the type of things, like, you're not only moving your star, but you're giving a team a potential dynasty piece. You put them next to Wemby, they're going to win championships for the next 4 years. Put them next to Luka, they're going to win championships for the next 4 years. You see what I'm saying? You got to be very careful not to send him somewhere that's going to keep you from being able to compete with him in the future. That's a real thing. You send him to OKC and you're tanking the entire Western Conference potentially. Like, they're never going to lose again. And so that's the type of thing you don't do if you're the Lakers. Anthony Davis wants to be here. He re-signed with us under these same circumstances, knowing damn well we didn't have enough to win a championship. He knew that. He knew we didn't have a center. He re-signed here knowing we didn't have a center behind him. He's cool with this. He wants to be a Laker. And that means something to him in different ways, financially included. I just don't see him wanting to leave the Lakers. People fight their way to the Lakers. They don't necessarily fight their way away from the Lakers unless they just can't cut it. And the fact that he won the bubble championship, he don't have to live behind the idea that he can't cut it because he's already proven it. So that gives him a cushion for some of the mistakes that he's made in not displaying his best because he's already got a championship in the rafters represented to his name. So it's like, even though he's missing free throws against Orlando and can't beat, Jokic at all, can't beat Sabonis but once in the last 4 years, still got a championship though. He can always fall back on that. I've already done it. And so it's like that gives him a space for which he can stay in this place and not necessarily achieve as much as maybe he would like to display. He's already proven to this franchise that he can win a championship. So they should have belief in him that he can do it again. And so for me, having him on so many years contracts, not like I'm looking at that as a bad contract. No, Anthony Davis is exactly paid the way he's supposed to be paid. So for me, even if I'm moving LeBron James, unless Anthony Davis just comes here and says, I don't want to play any more on your team, you're moving LeBron James, I don't want to be in this situation, I'm not moving him. I'm not moving him because I've discovered something that I've already known, which is that I'm not good enough to win. See what I'm saying? Just because people are coming around to understanding this doesn't necessarily mean that the people in the front office and the players didn't already understand this beforehand. Most of these people ain't discovering nothing. We're not discovering that this team ain't that great. You see what I'm saying? So that we would wake up this morning and say, you know what? We can't win. Let's just trade everything for scraps and picks and start over. That doesn't equate to the reality of the perspective of those behind the scenes and those on the team. That's not their perspective. They already know they can't win. Going into this season, whatever that looks like, they know. And they still sign with the team. They still here. They want the kid to come here. Like, nobody's leaving. That's a narrative that doesn't actually hold a lot of weight based on the tea leaves I'm reading. It don't hold a lot of weight. I don't think either one of them people leaving. Now, do they want the Lakers to make moves to get better? Yes, we would all like the team to get better. To what end? No end. If you can get Wemby and Luka Don, bring them here. You see what I'm saying? Is it possible? No. So are not other things that people want done. And, you know what I mean? Like literally and. So, I'm telling you, fans going to have to start understanding that when you start getting a little closer to the team and understanding the nuances of different things in regards to the possibilities of how a trade can be executed, and, the apron era and all this and that, all this talk about trades in this particular era, it's almost disingenuous for people who are knowing what's going on here to actually sell the idea of trade. Because the reality is it's more difficult to make trades than it's ever been in the NBA. And teams are less inclined to make decisions that are going to risk their long-term future. Because we're seeing a lot of teams suffering from that mistake right now. So if the Lakers trade Anthony Davis for a bunch of picks and scraps, trade LeBron James to his preferred destination for whatever small amount would ultimately coming back, and then go forward into a future where 2 of their next 4 picks are mortgaged away, they're probably going to suck for a long time. And our fan base doesn't want our team to suck for a long time. The NBA doesn't want the Lakers to suck anymore. And the corporations, shoe companies don't want the Lakers to suck going forward. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Lakers to not rebuild. Or it's going to be some shuffling around behind the scenes to secure that the Lakers don't suck in the future upon rebuilding. So I'm telling y'all, man, this ain't the time for the Lakers to suck. That's basically what I'm telling you. When everybody's in a position to where they can't really undo certain trades and things like that, you do not break up the cash cow that is Bron and AD. ESPN may want to make content about it to get people riled up, but if we sent Anthony Davis to the Minnesota Timberwolves and LeBron James to the Golden State Warriors, for example, ESPN would not benefit from that. They would not benefit from that. They may in the short term, but the Golden State Warriors are still the Golden State Warriors whether they get old man Bron or not. They're just a nice team that, you know, they're good. A lot of young people in this era, you know, that's their great team. But when you zoom out, Golden State Warriors are a pretty solid championship franchise, but it's not the LA market, man. I'm telling y'all it's not. It's not the LA market. It ain't purple and gold. It don't hold the same luster. And it ain't an upgrade for the brand of LeBron James to go there. It's just not. If anything, Steph Curry need to be coming down here. That's the real thing. So that's what I'm saying to y'all. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things in this life. There's a lot of different ways to make money in the internet era. You don't have to be stuck to a great market to make great money at this point. But it does stand to reason why if you have Bron and AD in the LA Laker market, you probably don't want to do anything to screw that up. You probably don't want to do that. And I think the NBA I could argue the NBA has done that by voting in this collective bargaining agreement that makes it so difficult to make trades. They did screw that up to a degree. They screwed it up, and that's what it is. It made it too hard for us to get a Trae Young. Made it too hard for us to get a Donovan Mitchell. It made it too hard for us to be able to swindle away to get the right role players so that this team could play deep into the playoffs and get all the revenue that comes from that. All the viewership that comes from that. They screwed that up. Let's just be honest. They screwed it up. So that they continue to further screw it up by breaking those players apart, it's going to eat away at their overall ceiling. As it pertains to the revenue ceiling for the entire league. Hell no, I ain't doing that. Sending AD to a small market? Sending Bron James to go play with Steph Curry on the end? Maybe. The Steph Curry-Bron thing, but the AD to OKC or something? Nah, man. Nah, no way in hell they want to do that. No way in hell they want to do that. No. Best case scenario for the NBA, in my opinion, is Bron and AD go out together. Bron retires on the grand finale of, what they call it, a farewell tour, and then you usher someone else into the Lakers upon Bron's exodus. Likely a guy like Luka Doncic or Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum. That's probably what the NBA would prefer to do. That's probably what the ESPN-ish, cash cow makers off of the NBA revenue viewership, that's probably what they would prefer. Anthony Edwards to the Lakers. That's what, like, if I'm trying to make the most money going forward, that's what I'm trying to swindle into reality. Get Anthony Edwards the hell out of Minnesota, send him to the Lakers when LeBron James bounces. Somehow. That's how you really make money. And you have that fantastic young player pushing the Lakers forward with his confidence and his ability into further championship glory, where viewers will watch it, 28 million people all over the world watching that. That's what you want. Whatever else the NBA is doing is just eating away at their own revenue, in my humble opinion. And with new companies coming in, like Amazon buying up $6 or $7 billion, whatever the heck the money is, for 10, 12 years, that's the future that they probably would prefer. That's the future. Breaking up Bron and AD in the short term doesn't make as much sense. In the long term, doesn't necessarily make as much sense to me. They need to keep the Lakers relevant if they want that to look as good as it does. And given the fact that Utah and OKC and Houston have all the picks, where all the young talent, all the best players are likely going to go to one of those three places, it would be very wise to keep the Lakers propped up real nice and fat. Even if they have to do it synthetically, they would be wise to. Because I'm telling you, you could put all the best players on OKC, people ain't going to watch that crap. You have OKC Cleveland finals, believe me, we ain't watching. So just being honest with people, they better get it together, man. If they follow me, they know what I'm talking about is true. We ain't going to watch it. You better keep these premier franchises in a space of relevance. Don't toy with that. So that's my point of view, man. That's what I think. I don't think Bron's going anywhere. I think it's too many other people outside of the NBA that would love to see LeBron stay in LA, or at least in a massive market like New York or Miami. Not going back to no place like Cleveland. Golden State is kind of interesting with Steph Curry, So I could totally see that actually being something they sign off on. But other than that, not really. I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's pretty much my take on things. I'm sure there's more aspects to this conversation that are relevant. If they were going to break this thing up for basketball reasons, they probably would have did it before the no trade clause hit LeBron James' desk. Now that it's there, it just doesn't make as much sense for the franchise or for the corporations surrounding the league to remove LeBron James from the Los Angeles Lakers, the almighty cash cow, purple and gold. BDL 44, and I thank you all for watching. I'm out.